Fans of Coronation Street had already discussed what they believed Jodie Ramsey might do next, and after her most recent appearance on the long-running series, their suspicions seem even stronger. Many viewers admit they have not trusted the character since the moment she arrived in the ITV soap, especially after it was later revealed that she was the long-lost sister of Shona Platt. At the beginning, her entrance created a mystery because no one knew who she really was. She appeared during the dramatic crossover episode with Emmerdale known as Corriedale, which included a terrifying multi-vehicle crash. Although she was not directly part of the accident, Jodie was shown tied up in the back of a van driven by Emmerdale returnee Graham Foster. When traffic stopped due to the massive collision, she took the opportunity to escape. As she tried to get away, DC Kit Green chased after her, and she eventually crashed into a tree. Because of this, she ended up among the injured victims taken to hospital. There she encountered a pregnant Shona, who had also been caught up in the crash with David. During this time, the couple welcomed their first child together, Harper. While Shona was recovering in hospital, Jodie revealed who she was, which confused David because he had never heard of her before. Eventually, she was invited to stay with the Platt family at number 8, and viewers noticed that she seemed eager to take Shona's place by growing closer to David. In recent episodes, Jodie has intensified her feud with lawyer Adam Barlow. He has repeatedly confronted her because she walks David's dog but does not clean up after it. After spotting her with the dog, Adam quickly lectured her about being responsible and picking up dog mess. Jodie simply smiled and walked away, but the situation did not end there. Earlier in the week, the dog was seen urinating on Adam's new car. He became extremely angry, yet Jodie treated the matter lightly. Later at the cafe, Tracy Barlow noticed the dog behind the counter and warned that she might report Jodie to environmental health. During a midweek visit to Weatherfield, Adam went to number 8 carrying a bag of dog mess that had been left on his car and made it clear he believed Jodie was responsible. She denied any involvement, and David Platt supported her story. Afterwards, David helped Jodie place more mess on Adam's car, but Adam managed to film them. He later happily shared the video with others. However, after Thursday's episode in Weatherfield, viewers were once again questioning Jodie's motives when she was shown spending even more time with David. A new Coronation Street spoiler clip has revealed that Kit's life could be in serious danger during dramatic hospital scenes. In the upcoming episodes, everything will be at risk for Kit Green when Mal Roper finally regains consciousness. Mal has spent several weeks in hospital after suffering a cardiac arrest that followed a violent assault. The incident left him fighting for his life, but he now appears likely to recover, which could spell serious trouble for DC Green. Although Bernie Winter was originally arrested for the attack, the real person responsible was actually Kit. Mal first crossed paths with Bernie after discovering that his wife had secretly been exchanging letters with Roy Cropper, leaving him upset and looking for comfort. At the same time, Bernie was dealing with the grief of losing her son-in-law Billy Mayhew, so it wasn't surprising that the two ended up spending time together. The next morning, Bernie deeply regretted the night she spent with Mal after taking drugs, especially after he kissed her in his hotel room. However, Mal didn't seem to share her regret, and soon appeared again as Roy's newly hired electrician. Over time, it became obvious that Mal had formed an unhealthy fixation on Bernie and believed they were in a romantic relationship. When Bernie tried to make it clear that she wasn't interested, he refused to accept it and even kept her in the cafe against her will. Realizing that Bernie wanted nothing to do with him, Mal reacted angrily by insulting her and making cruel remarks about her late son, Paul Foreman. During their final confrontation, Bernie threatened Mal, and other people overheard her words, which naturally made her the main suspect in the attack. However, a newly released spoiler video shows that Mal will soon wake up from his coma, meaning he might remember who assaulted him. Trying to protect himself and hide the truth, Kit goes to the hospital to question Mal. The big question is whether Mal will recognize him as the man who attacked him. This situation follows a tense discussion with DS Lisa Swain the day before, during which Kit manages to control the story while she questions him about the assault. But when she reveals that a witness has come forward, Kit becomes visibly shaken. Later, outside the police station, Kit confronts the witness, who immediately identifies him as the attacker. Now the question remains, has Kit's secret finally been exposed? Jealousy begins to consume Theo Silverton in upcoming Coronation Street episodes, and his growing anger soon leads him to target another resident of Weatherfield. Although Theo has ended his toxic relationship with Todd Grimshaw, the situation is far from over. The cruel bully now directs his frustration towards someone else in the community. For the past year, Todd has lived in fear of his controlling fiancée, who subjected him to several forms of abuse, including physical, emotional, and most recently, financial manipulation. Theo convinced Todd to open a joint bank account, giving him control over the money and forcing Todd to ask permission whenever he wanted to buy anything, claiming it was about being financially responsible. However, this plan backfired on Theo during his birthday celebration. He was unimpressed with the simple gift Todd bought using a limited budget. The situation worsened when Todd suggested he drink coffee instead of alcohol, which caused Theo to lose his temper and threaten him with a knife. After enduring months of abuse, Todd reached such a low point that he called Theo's bluff and challenged him to go ahead and kill him if he wanted. This shocked Theo, who ended up spending the night sleeping in his van. The following day, Todd confronted him and insisted that their relationship could not continue like this. To his surprise, Theo suddenly returned the engagement ring and claimed they were both unhappy, officially ending their relationship. While it may seem like Todd's nightmare has ended, the story is far from finished. Theo quickly begins spending time with other men in an attempt to make Todd jealous. Yet when Todd starts dating again himself, Theo becomes furious and retaliates by secretly spiking his drink. Theo's anger is not directed only at Todd. Like many abusers, he has tried to isolate Todd from the people who care about him. His insecurity causes him to resent anyone close to Todd, especially George Shuttleworth. As Todd's boss, mentor, and father figure, George represents the biggest challenge to Theo's influence over Todd, making him an obvious target. Meanwhile, the well-known funeral director is already dealing with serious problems. He and his partner, Christina Boyd, have become the focus of accusations from Annie, the daughter of a former client who claims George manipulated her mother into leaving him £10,000 in her will. These allegations, along with several negative online reviews, have damaged his reputation and harmed his business. Unfortunately, Theo's involvement threatens to make the situation even worse. In upcoming scenes, Theo's jealousy grows stronger as he watches Todd begin to move on with his life. After a heartbroken Todd spends a night drinking to cope with the breakup, Theo becomes furious when he sees him being taken home by James Bailey. The following day, Theo overhears Summer Spellman telling George that James stayed overnight on the sofa, which only fuels his jealousy further. Later, when Theo notices Adam Barlow chatting with a client at Speed Doll, his curiosity grows after Gary Windus reveals that the woman is Annie, the same person accusing George of fraud. Theo approaches Annie and introduces himself, suggesting that whatever he is planning next will likely cause even more trouble for both George and Todd. Coronation Street viewers have shared similar opinions about Claire Sweeney's upcoming departure from the long-running soap after a possible clue hinted at what might lead to her character Cassie Plummer leaving Weatherfield. Claire first appeared in the ITV series in 2023, introducing the character Cassie as someone struggling with drug addiction. It was later revealed that she was Tyrone Dobbs' long-lost mother and the estranged daughter of Evelyn Plummer. After initially having a difficult relationship with her family, Cassie eventually settled into life in Weatherfield. She rebuilt connections with her relatives and began a relationship with Steve McDonald, even planning to propose to him. However, her plan to ask him to marry her was interrupted when Steve received the news that his father, Jim McDonald, had died during a recent visit to Weatherfield. In that episode, Steve got a phone call informing him of his father's passing, leaving him upset because he never had the chance to say goodbye. Later, Steve was comforted at the Rovers by his girlfriend Cassie, his daughter Amy, and his former wife Tracy Barlow. Unknown to him at the time, Cassie had been preparing to propose before hearing the news. As Steve tried to cope with his grief, Amy mentioned that Jim had been unwell for some time while Maggie Driscoll watched the scene unfold. Tracy eventually realized what Cassie had been planning and later told Steve about the proposal idea, which left him feeling uncomfortable. Although he reassured Cassie that he loved her, he admitted that he didn't feel ready to get married right now. He explained that the recent loss of his father and his past history of multiple marriages made him unsure about taking that step. In a recent episode aired on March 12th, Steve attended Jim's funeral. While the actual service was not shown on screen, viewers saw him being supported by Cassie, Amy, Tracy, Ben, and his close friend Tim Metcalf. Afterwards, the wake took place at the Rovers, where two of Jim's old friends joined the gathering. Maggie Driscoll appeared uneasy around the mourners and tried to avoid them, which left her son Ben confused. At the same time, fans noticed tension between Steve, Cassie, and Tracy, particularly when the two women argued over who should sit where in the funeral car. Recently, it was announced that Claire Sweeney will soon take on another acting role, which will lead to her departure from the soap. She is set to play Miss Hannigan in the touring stage production of Annie. Claire will begin performing the role on July 7th, taking over from Lavoie, who will start the tour when it launches in Wimbledon on May 23rd, before traveling to several cities, including Birmingham, Manchester, Plymouth, and Canterbury. When the news was announced earlier in the year, a Coronation Street spokesperson wished Claire success in the role and congratulated her on securing a part she has long wanted to perform. The spokesperson also confirmed that Cassie will remain in Weatherfield until the summer, with the character continuing to be involved in major storylines before her dramatic exit from the show. Coronation Street is broadcast on weekday evenings at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1, and episodes are also available to watch through the ITVX streaming platform.